Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today is day 7 of our top interview 150 question, and the question that we will be solving today is best time to buy and sell stock. Okay, this is an easy level question, and in this question what we need to do is we have been given some prices of the stock and we need to maximize our profit. Okay, so how to do that? First let's read the question. So as told that we have been provided an array, and this array will contain prices of the stock. Okay, and every day it will have a new price. Okay, because the prices of the stock can go up and down, and what we need to do is we need to take the we need to buy the stock on the like the minimum price, and we need to sell it at the maximum price that is possible. And since we cannot sell the stock before buying it, therefore the minimum price that is coming, it should come before the selling price. Okay, so let's see here with an example. Like we have been given here, we have been given 7 here. Okay, in this whole array this 7 is maximum. Okay, but we cannot sell the stock before buying, right? So I cannot make a profit of 7 here, right? So I will move forward and I will see that I have 1 between 7 and 1 is the least. So in my prices I can assign this, right, minimum price. So let's say my minimum price becomes 1 now, and then I will move forward. I see that I have 5 there, which is greater than minimum, right? And there is a possibility that I can have a maximum profit using this 5. So what I will do, I will store this difference. 5 minus 1 is equals to 4. Till now this is the maximum profit possible, right? So I will again move forward and I will see that I have 3, right? Now 5 is greater than 3, right? 5 is greater than 3 and 1 is the least value till now. But the difference between 1 and 3 is less than 1 and 5, right? So the difference will remain same only. Again we will move forward. We see that I have 6 here. This 6 is greater than 3 and greater than 5 also, which means that the difference can be maximum when I subtract 6 from 1, right? So what I will do, I will take 6 minus 1, which gives me 5, and till now it is my max profit. Again I will move forward. I see that I have 4 here, but the difference that I will receive after this cannot be maximum, right? So I will leave it as it is, and now I will return the maximum profit or the maximum difference that is possible, which is 5. Okay, so I need to return the maximum profit that is possible. Okay, so now how to solve this question, right? There are 3 possible ways to solve this question. Okay, and also we have been told that, like we have been given here, right, 7 6 4 3 2 1. If I buy a stock at 7 rupees, okay, I cannot sell it at 6 rupees, right? It will be a loss for me. And in the same way I cannot sell it at 4 rupees or 3 or 1. So in cases where transaction is not possible, I have to return 0. Okay, so what we can do here is we can initialize our difference with 0. So like whenever I don't have any value, I can just return 0 as the answer. Okay, so now let's move on to the approach of the question. So we will see the brute force approach first. Now the easiest approach that comes to our mind while seeing the question is using 2 loops, right? What I can do here is, if I have this array 7 1 5 3 6 4, right? So what I can do, I can keep a pointer here and I can iterate through the entire array and see which value is less than greater than 7 or not, and if it is there, then I can try to get the maximum difference, right, or the maximum profit. So let's say I start iterating using I is equals to 0, and it will go till less than n, right? And there we know that we have a condition that we cannot sell the stock before buying it. Therefore the minimum price should come before the maximum price. So our another loop will start after I plus 1, right? So what we will do, j is equals to I plus 1 and it will go less than n. Now what we have here, let's say this is 7 and this is 1. Now I need to check a condition, right? If I is greater than j, means I need the j value to be greater than I, right? Which means that I need to check if price at I is less than price at j, right? Then only I can store the maximum profit. Because now let's see this 7, my point I is at 7, ith value, jth value. So I will start iterating from 1. This will 7 is greater than 1. Then I will move forward. I will see for 5, 3, 6, 4. In all the condition I am seeing that 7 is greater. So I cannot buy this stock, right? So we will cross it out. So now what we will do? We will, our I will move to 1, right? So our I will move to 1. Now we will start j from here, from 5, right? Then let's start from here. I see that this 5 is greater than 1, right? That means I can get a difference or I can get a profit here, okay? So what I will do in such condition where price at j is greater than I will take a profit or I can take a difference, max profit. And we have been told that if there is no possibility, I need to return 0. For that what I can do, I can just initialize my max profit with 0. So I will start it with 0. Now here I need to store the maximum difference. So what I will do, max of max profit, comma, prices at, means price at jth index minus price at ith index, right? So if let's say now my ith value is 1, okay, and my jth value starts from 5, right? So the difference what I will get 4. Till now this difference is maximum, right? I had initialized my maximum profit with 0 and in the maximum 0, 4 maximum value is 4. So now my maximum profit will be 4. Now as I move forward, I see that I have 3 here. Now 3 minus 1 I will get 2. So if I am getting 2 and 4 in the maximum, then what I will get as the maximum profit? 4 only. So till now my max profit is 4. Again j will move forward and we see that I have 6 here, right? Now 6 minus 1 will give us 5 and this 4 will remain same. So now the max profit will get updated to 5, right? In the same way we will come to 4 and we will see that now 5 is only the greatest. So max profit will store 5 now, okay? Again I will get updated. I was here, right? Now I will move to here and then again we will check, then again I will get updated. In the same way we will iterate till less than n, right? Now we already got our value in the second iteration, right? The rest of the iterations were like for the worst case scenarios, right? When we would find let's say my value of 1 was here and 6 was here. So in that cases the working on the iteration would have been efficient or beneficial. But right now the 4 iterations after this one was just like it was not useful or it was not efficient, right? So this is the brute force approach. That's why, means this is the initial approach which we need to optimize in order to move forward, right? What is the time complexity of this code? We are using O of n square, right? And space complexity is O of 1 only, because we are just using max profit and there is no array or like array or set or any map that we are using. Okay, now let's move on to a better approach. Okay, now in this question we saw that we are using two loops, right? One we are using in order to keep on checking every time, right, that we have any maximum maximum profit or not, because we were not storing the minimum price anywhere. This minimum price was not getting stored anywhere. So in order to store minimum price, let's say I am storing the minimum price. Here what I am doing, I am checking the condition every time so that I can get a minimum price. But let's say if I am storing a minimum price in an array, then I don't have to use this j loop, right? I can just start iterating from this from using I am iterating using I, and every time I see a minimum value, I can just store it in my array, right? Means for the second loop or the inner loop that we were using here, it was just to check every time in order to get a minimum value, right? But if I already store the minimum price every time I see it, I will not need this loop. So here that only we will do. We will use dynamic programming for a better approach. Okay, now we will be storing minimum price every time we see a minimum value, so that we will remove that inner loop. Okay, so what we will do, we will initialize an array with 0, and what we will do here is we will on the 0th index, okay, we will add the 0th index value, okay, which is here. Because here also what we were doing in the minimum value, whenever we were taking minimum value, we were comparing two values here, right? And if I start iterating from here, if I store the 0th value here, let's say 7 is stored in the minimum prices. Now I can compare every value that we iterate on, right? Instead of 0, we can start here from 1. So what I can do here is I will compare this I value with this value, right? So what I can do, basically I have this minimum price array where I am storing 7, right? Okay, I have 7 here now, and I am starting the iteration from 1. So if I am starting from the index 1, then what will happen? Right now we have initialized all the values with 0. So let's copy our previous array 7 1 5 3 6 4. 7 1 5 3 6 4. So this will be our length of minimum prices also, which means that we will need 6 length array. Now what we will do, we will start iterating here. Okay, we will store the minimum value here, and then whichever minimum value we are having on this index, we will find the difference using that. So what we will do here, if prices at I is greater than minimum at I minus 1, then what I can do here, I can find the difference, right? So what I will do here, and find the difference which I need to maximize, right? So max of difference, or I can use here max profit also. So minimum prices at I minus, this is a lesser value, right? So first I will use, we need to subtract minimum from prices at I, right? So prices at I minus minimum prices at I minus 1. right? So here what we are storing, we are getting the maximum difference. Now let's say whatever value I am getting here, I need to store a minimum value here also, so that I can compare it with the last value. So what I will do, I will store minimum prices this statement I will write here. So mini at I is equals to minimum of prices at I and mini of I minus 1. So what I am doing here, let's say I had initialized my, means at the 0th index of mini I had 7, right? And I am starting the iteration from 1 index. So what I will do, I will compare 7 and 1. Which is minimum now? 1 is minimum. So here what I will do, I will store 1. Okay, now I will check if prices at I is greater than minimum at prices at I, means 1 is greater than minimum of I minus 1. It is not there. So I will simply move to second index. Now my pointer is here and my prices at I, minimum at I, it will check if this value is like less than the previous value or not. So here also I will store 1 only, and we will see that difference. In order to get the difference, what I will do, if now our prices at I, this is 5, right? It is greater than 1. So what I can simply do, I will do 5 minus 1, and now the maximum value that will be stored in difference is 4, right? So till now we are having 4. Again our index will move to 3, right? And first what we will do, we will check what is the minimum value here. So the minimum value that I am getting here is 1 only, because minimum of 1 comma 3 will be 1 only, right? So I will get 1 only here. Now again we will check if prices at I is greater than minimum of I minus 1. This is 1 and this is 3, right? So this 3 is greater than 1, so I can proceed with this. But the difference that I had before was 4, and the difference now I will get is 2. So the maximum difference is 4 only. Therefore we will not update and make any updations. Again we will move forward to 6, right? And we will see that what is the minimum between 1 and 6. 1 is the minimum, so here we will store 1 only. And then we will check if this prices at I is greater than this 1, right? So this is greater, means 6 is greater than 1. So what I can do, I can take the difference here. Now my difference that was stored before was 4, and now what I am getting, 6 minus 1, right, which is 5. So I can store 5 in the difference now. In the same way, again what my index or the index will move to 4, right? Now what we will see, which is the minimum value, 1 or 4? It will be 1. So we will store 1 here, and what we will do, we will check that if prices at I is greater than minimum minus 1 or not. Means this 1, which is this 4 is greater than 1, right? We can again find the difference. But right now the difference that is stored in diff is 5, right? And if I do 4 minus 1, I will get 3, which is not greater. Therefore difference will become 5 only, and outside the loop I will return difference. So basically what I am doing here, first I am iterating from index 1, right? And before that I am initializing my DP or minimum prices, initializing DP with 0, and the size of DP is n, right? Size n. Now what I am doing after that, I have started the iteration, so I will update value in the DP. Update value in DP. After that I will check condition. If prices at I is greater than minimum prices at I minus 1. This minimum prices is the DP, right? So we are checking the condition, and if the condition is true, then what we are doing? We are storing it in our difference, right, or the maximum profit. Store value in difference or maximum profit, right? These are the step of series or these are the steps that we are following to get our maximum profit or the maximum difference that is possible to buy the stock, right? So this is kind of a better approach, because although we are having a time complexity of O of n, but we are also using a space, right, which also occupies O of n space. So we need to remove this extra space, right? So now let's move on to the most optimal approach, and we will have only O of n time complexity there, and we will not have this space complexity. We will only have a constant space of complexity of O of 1. So let's see the optimal approach. So in the previous approach we saw that we are using this minimum prices array to store the minimum price, right? But what I can do here is, instead of using this array, I can just store the minimum value, right? Instead of storing minimum price, in an array, I can just store it in a normal variable, right, in a constant space. So like every time I will see a minimum value, I can just update it, right? And since we will not go backwards, we are moving only in one direction. So if I am getting a minimum value there, so after that only our maximum value will be present, right? So let's say I start iteration from 1 to less than n, right? Because we will be storing like the minimum value AR, means whatever the 0th index value is there, we will store it there, right? Now we will be moving in one direction only, so there is no way that we will be having a minimum value that is left out backwards, right? Means let's say I have 7 1 5 3 6 4 like we have been given before. So if I am comparing between 7 and 1 is only the least value, right? So I am not getting, means I am not leaving any value, right? Whatever the minimum value I will find, it will be means in the forward only, means we will not leave out any value in the back. So since we are comparing every time, so there is not a chance that we will leave the minimum value which is present to maximize our profit, okay? So let's say we started iterating from here. So in our minimum value I am storing 7 right now, and now what I need to do, I need to compare these both, right? So whichever the minimum value is there, I need to store that. So in my mini, what I will do, I will simply store minimum of mini value and the prices at I. So what this will give me, means this will compare between 7 and 1. So which is the minimum value right now? 1. So my mini will get updated to 1. Right? And now what I need to do, I need to see also, right, whichever the maximum value is present after the minimum value, I need to find difference according to that. So for that what I will do, right now I am having a minimum value only, right, this one. So now what I will do, I will take a value, I will take a variable and I will store my maximum profit there, okay. And since we have been told that if we are not getting any value, means any maximum profit, then we need to return 0. So for that case only we are initializing it with 0, okay. So that if we are having a condition where we have the arrays like this 7 6 5 3, okay. So in this there is no profit available, right? And whatever difference we will get, it will be in negative only. So for that what we will do, we will initialize it with 0. If we are getting a negative profit, so the value returned will be 0 only, okay. So now let's move on with with this example. So now we have minimum as 1, okay, and our prices of I is also 1 only. Now I need to take the maximum difference. So I know this. I will have to find the max of difference with any value, right? So what will be that any value? We have to get the difference, that is prices of I minus the minimum value that is possible. So prices of I minus mini. So here we are having 1 and 1. So 1 minus 1 will give us 0, but the minimum value 0 is possible. So right now our difference will be 0. Now our I will move forward to 5, right? So what will happen now? We will have prices of I as 5 and the minimum value will be 1 only, because in 5 and 1 minimum value is 1. So we will have 0 in difference and 5 minus 1. Therefore the difference the maximum difference that is possible will be 4 right now. So our difference will get updated to 4. Now again our pointer will move forward and we see that we have 3 here. Now the minimum value will be 1 only, but if right now our difference has 4 and we will get 3 minus 1. This 4 is greater than 2, right? The difference we are getting from 3 minus 1 is 2 and 4 is greater, so difference will not get updated, it will remain as 4 only. Now again our cursor or the pointer will move forward and we will have 6 here. Now our difference is having 4 and the prices minus mini that we are getting is 5. So now we have a maximum value which is 5. Again our difference will get updated to 5 now, okay. Now we will move forward and the last value that we have here is 4 and now difference has 5, right? So 5 comma max of 5 and 4 minus 1, right? So 5 is already greater, obviously greater, so we will store 5 only in our difference and we will return that. So we will return difference here, okay. So what we are doing here in the dry run, we saw that we are storing the minimum value and then for every condition we are trying to find the maximum difference possible, and then whatever maximum difference we are getting, we are returning that as the answer. So now let's move on to the code editor and I will be solving using this optimal approach there, and I will be mentioning the brute force and the better approach using DP in my GitHub, and you can access those code from there, okay. So now let's move on to the code editor. So let's see the code now, okay. So first what I will do, I will initialize my difference with 0 and we will also have a value to store the minimum values, right? So I will initialize mini and it will be initialized with the value at 0th index, so prices of 0. Now what I will do, I will start iteration for I in prices from 1 to end. So we can iterate using prices, and this will start the iteration from first index only, okay. So now what I need to do, I need to store my minimum value, right? So mini is equals to minimum of mini comma the I, right? Whatever I am having. Again, now what I will do, I will have difference, that is the maximum difference that is possible, is equals to max of difference comma, whatever price I am having minus minimum value, right? So we will do that, find the difference, and then we will return the maximum difference that is possible. So now let's run the code. So the sample test cases are passed. Let's try to submit it. So this code has been accepted. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments. And in case you have any doubts, let me know in the comments too, so that I can clarify it more. And in order to continue with me in this coding journey, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you will be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching.